Hello, everybody. J Funk here. And today I want to talk to you about what you'll be doing when the patch drops in 8.3. So you'll log on patch day, and the first thing you'll be greeted with was a quest called Return of the Black Prince, which will require you to speak with Valera Sanguinar's Horde. She is located in the Great Seal, as you'll see in the top left of the screen there. As Alliance, you'll have to go see Anduin Rin in Stormwind Keep and do a couple quests. But eventually, Horde and Alliance will both meet up in Silithus in the Hardforge area, and you'll talk to Magni in order to start out. Uh, you might also open up your weekly cache, like I did here, and weekly cache items, as long as they aren't trinkets, are guaranteed to be corrupted, I believe. So no matter what, they're guaranteed to be corrupted. I think on patch launch on live servers, though, since the season technically isn't live yet, until like a week or two afterwards, the item that you get out of your cache may not be corrupted. I'm not sure how that'll work out, but we'll see how that ends up working out. But you'll talk to Valera here. She's supposed to give you a cinematic, but since I'm on the PTR, she does not give the cinematic. It just fades to black, or just it's supposed to show a cinematic but doesn't show a cinematic. Kind of just freezes for a few seconds and then doesn't work. But then eventually I end up going to Magni, Silithus, going to Magni. Now Magni is going to send you to Uldum, the old Cataclysm Zone, Uldum, and send you to the Halls of Origination inside that zone. And that's where you start this very long intro sequence of this patch. So this intro sequence took me about 4 hours or so. Now I was kind of slow. I think if you're going fast, you could probably do this in about 2.5 to 3 hours. But it's still a very long intro sequence compared to most patches. But there's a lot in this patch, and they have to explain everything, so that they're trying to get through that. Because you have to unlock the two new zones, which is Pandaria and Uldum, and then you have to unlock Horrific Visions, and then you have to unlock the Legendary Cloak. But you'll see here, this is the first scenario that you do in Halls of Origination. Magni will accompany you, and he's a pretty OP warrior that has like a stun and a knockback and another stun. He's pretty good. And you'll see as we're doing this that I have a lot of corruption because of the ring that I got. And one of the corruption effects will spawn this eye in an area. And the more corruption I have, the more damage and the greater the area it will cover, this eye will cover. And if I stand near the eye in the area, it'll do damage to me and apply a debuff that increases the amount of damage it deals to me. Now, as a Windwalker monk, I don't really care about this. I can just soak it with karma, or I can heal myself with reverse harm. It's not a big deal. So I don't mind standing in it at all. It doesn't do that much damage. And it gives my healers a healing parse. But next up, you're going to go back to Uldum and do an assault. Now, assaults are the new content, part of the new content. One of the two zones, either Pandaria or Uldum, will have I believe, a weekly or bi-weekly or maybe 2 times a week assault, where there'll be an area that is corrupted by N'Zoth and is altered, and you'll have like new rares and stuff in this area, and there'll be different things to do in this area while it has an assault in it. But while you're in this area, there'll be dailies you can do, and while the area is an assault, you'll also have a world quest to do. So once the world quest is completed by just doing things in the area, so you should be doing the daily quests while also simultaneously completing this world quest. Now, after you complete the world quest and fill this bar up, you'll have to kill like a boss rare elite mob that's somewhere in the zone, and you can go there, kill it real quick, and then you can turn it in and get your box and a bunch of AP. But you'll see here, this is the area. You can find out which assault is up by clicking the bottom left of your map, and it'll tell you what assault is currently active. And then you can just go to that area and do some world quests. So basically, this patch has a lot of world quests to do in it, like a lot of world quests and daily quests. You got to do your Kultiris and Zandalar. You got to do your whatever war fronts are up. You got to do your Nazjatar stuff. You got to do your Mechagon stuff. You got to do You got to do your Panda Land and Uldum dailies. Now there's a lot to do. Not very enjoyable, but there's a lot. So you see here. I filled my bar up, and this is the rare in Uldum, or the elite guy that I had to kill. I wasn't quite sure what this guy did, but it seemed like he just summoned this Halo thing. You're supposed to have to like maneuver this kind of like the One Brawlers guild fight, but you don't really have to because the Halo doesn't do that much damage. So I think I end up just standing in it on purpose at some point. in order to kill him faster. But you kill this guy, and then you get sent all the way back to turn it in where you initially got your daily quest in Oldham, and then after you turn this in, you go back to Magni, and Magni is going to send you to the second zone you need to unlock, which is Pandaria. He wants you to go to the Mogu vaults in Pandaria. So you go there, and initially you're going to run into this Mogu, who's like, "Help! I need help!" And you're gonna get attacked by evil Mantid. Once you defeat these Mantid, you'll be sent to figure out what is happening, or like why are we helping this Mogu, like what's going on. You'll be sent to Lord Walker Cho, and Lord Walker Cho is gonna explain to you like, "Hey, this is what's happening, man. These are the clans of Mogu, and there's this one clan that we didn't talk about previously that's actually good, and they're led by a familiar face, which is Raden." Well, you see here, you have to go to the Mogushan Vault entrance, the raid entrance here, and then talk to this guy, and then the guy's going to be like, "Hey, help me." And then these evil Mantid will show up, and then you kill them. And then this is like the start of the Pandaria area unlocking. But if you're unaware, the Pandaria zone is the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. It got restored back to kind of where it was before, and it's kind of cool to see it like restored. It's not like it's not 1-to-1 what it used to be, but it's very similar, and it's kind of cool to see like the restoration efforts. You see, you go to Lord Walker Cho here, and where he usually is located, and he'll just give you. He has like a big lore quest chain, which just goes over like what is happening with the Mogu and what the Mogu clans are, and kind of explains to you over the course of like, I don't know. I think it took like 10 minutes to learn all about the Mogu clans. It takes a while. That's why I cut a lot of this out, because I did not want to see it a second time. It takes a while. But then he'll send you to go find a Mogu scouting report, which just involves you going to this specific area in the Vale and killing a bunch of Mogu that are fighting there. Now the Mogu this is a revamped zone. The Mogu are max level and they're scaled up. I think it took me about like 10-ish Mogu to kill in order to get the report itself. So I just went over here and just killed a bunch of Mogu. There's a lot of mobs that are fighting each other, so there's a very good chance that you just get stuck in combat randomly. So make sure you kill everything that you see, regardless if you want to kill it or not, to get out of combat. But afterwards, you'll kill this. I think this is the Mogu that I kill to finally get the report that I needed. You bring this report back to Lord Walker Cho, and he goes, "Oh, it's the Rajani. We forgot about to talk about the Rajani." And the Rajani are the second faction that you unlock in this patch. There is I don't know what the Oldham guys are called. I think they're called the Ramakan or something. And then you have the Rajani, which are the Mogu that we help in this patch for the second faction. 2 new reps to grind. Paragon's on, guys. Very exciting. So we go back, and we finally go and discover the Rajani. They're located in like the south-ish of the Vale. We talked to this guy who's like the speaker for Raden, and he's trying to get Raden to be motivated because Raden is all depressed and not feeling great because he thinks the world is doomed and we can't stop it. But quickly, I'd like to mention that the quest rewards for this entire intro sequence are 430 eye level, and you get an Azurite item or Azurite armor piece reward from this particular quest. It's 430, and it has the new raid trait on it, and it has the new transmog as well. So if you're interested in that, there you go. But then we go to after you do the world quest in Pandaland, it sends you to Mogushan Palace in order to complete the next stage of it, and you very quickly run into this puzzle. I don't really have a good tutorial for this puzzle because I didn't actually do it the way it was intended, I feel like. I'm not sure how you're supposed to do this puzzle. I have an idea, like when you step on a tile, it activates nearby tiles and kind of guides your path along and how you're supposed to go. But what I end up doing here is I end up just getting close enough to this middle area here, because the goal is to activate the lever in the middle. I just got close enough to this middle area here, and then I jumped on like the fence that it's guarding it, and then just kind of like walked around all of the tiles that you're supposed to interact with. I kind of just skipped it entirely. I didn't want to deal with it, man. It's too much work. I'd imagine if you're like a demon hunter or something, you can probably just like brute force this and jump over all the stuff. But this is how I did it. I had a big brain euphoria moment where I was like, oh, I can just do this, and I just cheesed it super hard. So if you want to do this way, do the J Funk way, then go for it, man, because it definitely is easier than figuring out whatever you're supposed to do with these tiles. Ain't nobody got time for that. But after you complete this puzzle, it'll unlock the area below. And if you've ever done this dungeon before, the Mogu Palace dungeon, it's just kind of like the underbelly area, the dungeon area, with all the Sarok. And then it's very similar to that in the sense that you just have to kill a lot of Sarok, and then you have to move a statue in place, and then you get like a loading screen, and it brings you to the next area, which is still the Mogu Vaults area. But it's the raid area instead. And we find out that this raid area is the source of all the corruption in Val. It's where N'Zoth is breaking through, and there's a bunch of tentacles. And this area, you have to kill this first guy here who discovers you. And after you kill this first guy, then you have to cleanse this area, fill a bar up and cleanse this area. You just kill things in the area, and then like click on tentacles and stuff to like purify the area, I guess. But this guy doesn't really do a whole lot. You just kind of kill him. He doesn't have much health either. You can just, he's like 400 or 300k health. Just kill him really easily. I didn't want to figure out what his cast does, so I used all my cooldowns, and he died very quickly. But then you unlock this area, and once you cleanse the area, fill this bar up, you go down below, and once you go down below, further closer to the Engine of Nalak Shah area, you fight even more mobs. And it's just a bunch of fighting mobs. You can skip all these mobs, by the way. You don't have to fight any of these mobs. Just like the one boss that I fought before this, you had to fight. But you don't have to fight any mobs in this area. You could just skip all this if you wanted to. Because your entire goal for this area is just to reach to the Engine of Nalak Shah, which is where Alagon is located in the raid. If you know what I'm talking about, it's the giant circle area where if you did like Raid Finder back in Miss, it's the area where hundreds of thousands of people just fell into that hole and died. So, or if you're doing your like weekly mount run, if you don't have the Celestial Cloud Serpent, that's the area that you're going towards at this point. So you just fight a bunch of Mantid that are guarding it, and eventually it leads you to this last boss guy, the Swarm Guard Kazaz. And you kill this guy, and once you kill this guy, it's going to spawn another boss. So I'd recommend not using your cooldowns if you have cooldowns on this guy, because it's not really worth it. The one thing as a melee you're going to have to worry about is that this Song of the Empress, if you get hit by it, it silences you and pacifies you, which means you can't attack at all for 3 seconds. So just as melee, it's a little bit harder to dodge it. I'd recommend just, not getting hit by it. It doesn't have much health and doesn't do much damage or anything else outside of that one cast. Once you kill that guy, it's going to spawn another dude, a big eyeball, manifestation of N'Zoth, which is corrupting the Engine of Nalak Shah, which we need to purify in order to link them together so that we can use these tools against N'Zoth and get rid of him and for good. So I think I end up killing this. I just blow my cooldowns on this guy and kill him. He doesn't have much HP. It's 1.8 million, so it's like about a rare in Nashitar and 8.2. So if you can kill one of those by yourself, you should have a pretty easy time with this guy. This eyeball doesn't do a whole lot. He'll cast this void beam on the ground, just move out of it. And that's pretty much all he does. Just move out of that and don't stand in the area that it's affecting. Just move to the side. And you should be able to get this guy down pretty quickly. Once you kill this guy, you have to activate the engine, and then you'll get a teleporter, and then you teleport back to Silithus, I believe. And then you unlock the next part of the quest chain, which is to go back to the Halls of Origination in Uldum, and this starts the horrific vision unlocking process. This is this is where we discover the horrific visions and what they are, what they do, kind of thing. So what you'll do is here you go to this thing, you'll click on it, and then it'll bring you into like the N'Zoth's realm or whatever, his mirror dimension, and it'll drain your sanity really quickly. and it's just supposed to simulate what you're doing for horrific visions, and it leads up to unlocking the legendary cloak and horrific visions. But when you're in here, all you gotta do is click the like little shadow versions of yourself, and then just wait for your sanity to drop, and then Mother will automatically teleport you out to Silithus, to the Heartforge area. And then you'll get a quest from Wrathion to go to Blackrock Mountain and Blackwing Descent. The next part of the area is Blackwing Descent, where you're helping Wrathion unlock your legendary cloak. Then after you do that, you'll come back to this area that we are in right now, and then be able to complete this horrific vision tutorial area for real. You'll see Mother teleports us out, and then we get a quest from Wrathion, and Rathion's like, "Hey, bro, I have a cloak for you, but you have to come help me get it." And I don't know what the fastest way to Blackrock Mountain is for Horde, but what I did was the Wrathy Warfront area was up for Horde, so I just teleported there and then flew down. That seemed to be pretty quick, but that still took like 5 minutes or so to do. But any way that you can get there pretty quickly is the best way to get there. This is how you'll get your Legendary Cloak. Legendary Cloak is 470 base. And it gives you 5 corruption resistance. And this is like the main like item that you're going to be upgrading this patch. It's very important. And you upgrade this item by completing a weekly horrific vision. It'll give you an item that you can use on your cloak to upgrade it. So when I completed my first horrific vision on the PTR here, and got to rank 2 of my cloak, my corruption resistance on the cloak went from 5 to 13 at rank 2, which is pretty significant. Corruption resistance is quite a bit, and the whole idea is you just want to get as many levels of your cloak per week. Which I think is 1 per week. Eventually, you're gonna get so many ranks of your cloak that it'll give you so much corruption resistance that you can equip a lot of corrupted gear, which will make you extremely powerful. So you should figure out via class discords or whatever your best corrupted effects are. Granted, you don't have that much control of whatever pieces that you get, especially early on, but later in the patch it'll be important to know what effects you're looking for, so you can keep them around to use them. But I think at the start of the patch you'll probably just be using whatever you can get your hands on for corrupted gear. So hopefully, I wish you all luck in getting your best in slot, whatever that may be. But for this, you just go and kill a bunch of dudes. And this is kind of relates to the boss. So the area, like the main big bad in this area is a boss. You see there, Dark Inquisitor Zanesh, aka Dix, is one of the bosses in the new raid. She's kind of the main antagonist of this scenario. And your whole goal of this scenario is just to you kill a bunch of dudes, you go to the side areas, you kill some bigger dudes, and you go help Wrathion and kill some larger dudes. And then you go back to the middle of the area, and then you kill a dude. So this is like after we've killed the side areas, and we've kind of helped Wrathion. Wrathion gets kidnapped. And then we have to kill these 2 mobs, which then unlocks these 2 dragons. It's not too bad. They're pretty low HP dragons. I think they're like 200k, 250k HP each on these dragons. Pretty easy to kill. But once you kill these mobs, you'll have to go back to the middle area where Wrathion is being dog-napped, and then he'll get real mad, and then a cinematic will play, and you can just... At that point, it's pretty easy. You just kind of just go into the middle area where you'd fight Ignixia in the raid, and then you click on like a scale in the middle area, and then it will give you the item in order to unlock your legendary cloak. And then Wrathion will peace out, but he'll spawn a dragon, and then you just ride that dragon all the way back to the Heartforge area in Silithus. And then boom, you have your legendary cloak. And the next part of the intro sequence is you go back to the Halls of Origination in Uldum, and then you complete that beginner horrific visions area that we were doing before. But this time we have the legendary cloak, and legendary cloak has sanity resistance on her. It reduces the amount of sanity that you lose, which is mainly as important in horrific visions. So don't worry about it anymore. We're not going to go insane anymore. And the beginner area in the Halterization was pretty easy. So we get a quest here. You'll notice that this is what coalescing visions are used for. So coalescing visions are used for a vessel of horrific visions, which is what you buy from Raytheon. You can also get transmogs, a socket item, or a mount from Raytheon, but they cost a different currency called corrupted mementos. And you get corrupted mementos from completing horrific visions in chests, but you need coalescing visions, a currency, in order to buy the keystones to do horrific visions. And I believe when the patch launches, you can get about 2 to, I think I had 4 vessels on the first on like the after completing the intro sequence. But I think it's recommended that you just do like 1 per week. I believe you only need to do 1 per week for the cloak upgrade. So you only need to do 1 per week ideally, but you can do more if you want to unlock more mementos. You can additionally use these corrupted mementos to upgrade your like there's like an upgrade thing that you unlock for horrific visions. It's kind of similar to like the class order halls, where it'll make horrific visions significantly easier. I'll go over this more in my horrific visions video, but essentially it just makes horrific visions a lot easier to do. And I wouldn't expect when doing your first couple horrific visions, I wouldn't expect you to get very far along, just because you don't really have that many upgrades and your cloak is a low eye level. But later on, it'll be incredibly easy to actually just get a lot of mementos. So after you do your horrific visions for the progression of the storyline, N'Zoth attacks the Heartforge area, and you have to defend it and then fill up this bar and stop all the old goddies from killing everyone. And this is pretty easy. Just like kill mobs and then click the things to fill up the bar. Everyone's fighting. And then at the end of this, there's supposed to be a cinematic, which from the context clues, from what I can gather, Ra-Den somehow sacrifices himself in order to save us. But there's no cinematic on the PTR yet, so I'm assuming that'll be on live servers when it launches, and be pretty cool to look at. It'll probably explain why he's a raid boss in the next raid, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. But once you complete this scenario, you're pretty much done, because the next quest you get is from Magni is to kill N'Zoth in the raid, so not great. But you see, this is what I was talking about. You can unlock the database here with Mother, and there's a bunch of upgrades that you can get. You also get a quest to upgrade your cloak, and then you can also get rank 4 of an essence from this when you complete stuff. So here I'm gonna build the archive, and this database just makes it so that it's like you can spend corrupted mementos to upgrade yourself in order to make yourself better in horrific visions. I think earlier on, you're probably going to want to spend your mementos on this, because these upgrades get kind of crazy. The first one here is it allows you to like put an orb down in the visions. It gives you a bunch of sanity back, which is extremely nice. You can have up to 3 of these orbs. It makes it really easy in order to like fill your sanity back up again. But the other upgrades are just really, really good. Like it reduces the damage that you take, increases the damage done. Like it makes it a lot easier. Eventually you can work towards this. If you find visions hard initially, eventually you can work towards this and make it really easy. You know, like you have this where it's like you revive instantly at 500 sanity, you know, you get double lives, and then you first revive to cost no sanity, like increases your max sanity. Like it just makes it a lot easier in order to complete these things. And this one where you can unlock chests in areas. It gets more rewarding later on. I think because the memento costs of these items or of these upgrades is so low, I think it's probably better to like unlock or upgrade yourself to a point where you can very easily complete the entire vision safely, and then start working towards getting like sockets and stuff, the socket items from Raytheon. Maybe if you have alts, you can start doing that as well earlier, if you don't really care about the alts like upgrades or whatever. But that's pretty much the end of our journey, guys. Like that is the entirety of the 8.3 intro sequence, kind of visually explained here. I hope this helps you guys. I know it took me a long time, but I hope this helps you guys in your journey in doing this. I hope you're excited for 8.3. I am personally pretty excited. I'm excited to see where the patch ends up going. Make sure to check out my Horrific Visions video, which will be out pretty soon. And I'll see you guys in 8.3. Thanks for watching.